If your tea or coffee is ready, find a comfortable place to sit, because now we're about to begin the story of cities where time stood still and people never returned. In this video, I will tell the story of 7 abandoned cities that were once full of life, but today are left with nothing but silence. Each one is real, each one was lived in, and each one carries the traces humanity left behind. Now, we're heading to the first city where silence reigns. Pripyat, Ukraine, Chernobyl's silent city. Pripyat, once one of the most modern cities in the Soviet Union, founded in 1970 for a single purpose: to house the engineers and families working at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The city was carefully planned: wide avenues, schools, hospitals, cinemas. There was even an amusement park. Pripyat was a showcase of the Soviet system. It was seen as a city of the future. By 1986, nearly 50,000 people lived there. The population was young: children's voices, students heading to school, workers rushing to their jobs. And then, on the night of April 26, 1986, everything changed forever. At 1:23 a.m., an uncontrolled experiment was carried out at reactor number 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. There was an explosion, then a second one. But this was not an ordinary explosion. It became one of the worst nuclear disasters in human history. In the first hours, no one fully understood what had happened. Authorities remained silent. Life in the city continued as usual. Children went to school. People went to work. Some watched strange blue lights rising into the night sky. No one knew that those lights were death itself. Radiation was invisible, odorless, silent, but once inside the body, it tore cells apart. About 36 hours later, authorities finally decided to evacuate Pripyat. An announcement was made: "You will be temporarily evacuated. Take only essential belongings. You will return in a few days." People believed it. They didn't lock their doors. They left their pets behind. Toys remained on the floor. Meals were left on tables. Buses arrived. Thousands of people quietly left the city. But to Pripyat, no one ever returned. Today, time feels frozen in Pripyat. Notebooks still lie on school desks. Soviet propaganda posters still hang on the walls. Rusting hospital beds line the corridors. And the most iconic image of all, the Ferris wheel. The amusement park, scheduled to open on May 1, 1986, was never used. The yellow gondolas remain in place, but there are no children left to ride them. Radiation levels have decreased over the years, but dangerous zones still exist. The soil, the trees, the buildings, all remain contaminated. Nature, however, has begun to reclaim the city. Trees grow through buildings. Roads have cracked. Animals have returned. There are no people, but there is life. Today, Pripyat is classified as a restricted zone. Only short visits with special permission are allowed. But living here will not be possible for centuries to come. Pripyat is not just a ghost city. It is a silent monument to one of humanity's greatest technological mistakes. This city reminds us of one thing: a power you cannot control will destroy you. And Pripyat was one of the first cities to pay that price. Hashima Island, Japan, a concrete ghost city. Off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan, there is a small island rising from the middle of the ocean. From a distance, it looks like a battleship. That's why it's called Gunkanjima, Battleship Island. But Hashima is not just an island. It is one of the harshest places where humanity challenged nature itself. In the late 19th century, a large coal deposit was discovered beneath Hashima. At a time when the industrial age was rising, this discovery was worth gold to Japan. The island was purchased by Mitsubishi, and it was transformed completely. Hashima stopped being a natural island. It was surrounded by massive concrete seawalls. Because the ocean was unforgiving, typhoons battered the island every year. To survive, the island was covered in concrete. Over time, Hashima became home to some of the world's first reinforced concrete apartment buildings. Tall structures, narrow alleys, lives stacked on top of one another. By 1959, more than 5,000 people were living on Hashima. This made it one of the most densely populated places on Earth per square kilometer. The island was so crowded that even sunlight struggled to reach the streets below. But life went on. There were schools, a hospital, a cinema, public baths and markets. Children played in concrete courtyards. Mothers hung laundry on narrow balconies. But the heart of the island beat 600 meters underground. Every day, men descended into the mines. Narrow tunnels, extreme heat, poisonous gases. Working conditions were brutal. Accidents were common. And the island also carried a dark history. During World War II, forced laborers were made to work here. Many of them lost their lives underground. These stories went unspoken for decades, because Hashima was a symbol of Japan's economic rise. But every rise has its fall. In the 1960s, coal began to lose its importance. Oil replaced it. And in 1974, Mitsubishi made a sudden decision. The mine was shut down. That decision was like a death sentence for the island. Within just a few months, thousands of people left Hashima. Belongings were left behind. Furniture remained in rooms. Calendars still hung on the walls. An island alive one day, completely empty the next. Hashima became one of the fastest abandoned places in Japan. As the years passed, the ocean began to reclaim the island. Buildings decayed, walls cracked, windows shattered under salty winds. Nature began a silent war against concrete. For a long time, stepping foot on Hashima was forbidden, because the buildings were on the verge of collapse. The island had become a dangerous ruin. Today, Hashima can be visited through limited guided tours, but visitors often say one thing: even the wind blows differently here. Because this island was once filled with human voices, now there is only the sound of waves. Hashima reminds us of this. Humans can cover nature with concrete, but they can never hold it forever. And one day, nature always returns. Kolmanskop, Namibia, the diamond city swallowed by sand. In the middle of the Namibian desert, there was once a city where wealth shined brightly. Its name, Kolmanskop. Today, those who visit it see sand pouring through half-open doors. Wind enters through broken windows, turning rooms into miniature desert landscapes. But Kolmanskop was not always like this. At the beginning of the 20th century, in a region then known as German Southwest Africa, an ordinary railway worker found something that would change his life forever. Along the railway tracks, small stones shimmering in the sun. They were diamonds. That discovery instantly turned the region into one of the most valuable places on Earth. Soon after, a town called Kolmanskop was built. But this was no ordinary town. In the heart of the desert, a European standard lifestyle was created. There was electricity, a hospital, a school. One of Africa's first X-ray machines was even used in this city. Theaters, grand balls, ice-making machines, furniture imported from Europe, wooden floors, elegant living rooms. Powered by diamonds, Kolmanskop became an oasis in the desert. But this wealth came at a price. The city depended entirely on the diamond mines, and the desert never slept. Every day the wind carried sand. It crept into houses and filled the streets. Yet people resisted, backed by the power of money, until the diamonds began to run out. In the 1920s, richer diamond deposits were discovered elsewhere. Kolmanskop's importance quickly faded. Companies withdrew, workers left, families moved away. Homes once filled with music fell into silence. By the 1930s, Kolmanskop was almost completely abandoned. Doors were not locked, belongings were not taken, as if everyone believed they would return one day. But no one ever did. And the desert began to reclaim the city. Sand poured into rooms, covered staircases, flowed through windows. Over time, the interiors of houses turned into small sand dunes. Nature slowly erased every trace left behind by humans. Today, Kolmanskop is a ghost town, mesmerizing for photographers, but its story is just as painful. Because Kolmanskop shows us this: wealth is never permanent. Humans may challenge nature, but nature is always patient. And when the time comes, it takes everything back. All that remains in Kolmanskop is sand, silence, and the echoes of the past. Centralia, USA, the city burning from below. In the U.S. state of Pennsylvania, there was once an ordinary town. Its name, Centralia. It was quiet, small, and no one knew that it would become the site of one of the strangest disasters in history. Centralia was founded in the mid-19th century. The reason was simple: coal. Beneath the town lay a massive deposit of anthracite coal. This coal helped fuel America's industrial power. For decades, thousands of people lived here: miners, families, children. By the 1960s, Centralia had a population of about 1,500 people. Everything was normal until 1962. That year, the town decided to clean up its landfill. The trash would be burned. At the time, this was a common practice, but no one realized that the landfill sat directly above an opening to old mine tunnels. The fire was lit, and the fire seeped underground. At first, no one took it seriously because the fire couldn't be seen. It was beneath the surface. But this was not an ordinary fire. The flames reached the coal seams, and the coal caught fire. Coal fires are almost impossible to extinguish. As long as they find oxygen, they spread. They move from tunnel to tunnel, and they can burn for decades, even centuries. Beneath Centralia, the ground was turning into a furnace. In 1979, measurements taken at a gas station revealed the truth. The temperature of the fuel tanks was far above normal. The town was burning from below. Then in 1981, the true scale of the disaster became clear. A 12-year-old boy, playing outside, fell into a sudden sinkhole when the ground collapsed beneath him. By pure luck, he was rescued just in time. But what rose from that hole terrified everyone. Hot gases, thick smoke, and a deep roar coming from underground. This was no longer a place where people could live. The U.S. government made a major decision. The town would be evacuated. Homes were bought out. People moved away. Schools closed. Churches fell silent. Over the years, Centralia was almost completely abandoned, but the fire never stopped. Even today, the ground beneath Centralia is still burning. According to scientists, the fire could continue for more than 100 years. Most of the town was erased from maps. Its zip code was canceled. Officially, it no longer exists. But Centralia is still there. Cracked asphalt roads, smoking fissures in the ground, empty foundations of homes, and silence. A place once full of life is now filled only with warning signs. Centralia shows us this. Sometimes disasters begin with a single wrong decision, and the price of that decision is paid for generations. This city was not destroyed by a bomb. It was not ruined by war. It burned slowly from below, and Centralia is still burning. As the years passed, the signs began to appear. Smoke rose from the roads. The ground collapsed without warning. Even in winter, snow melted from the streets. Toxic gases began seeping into basements of homes. Carbon monoxide, silent and deadly. Oradour-sur-Glane, France, the city that must never be forgotten. Near the center of France, there was a quiet, ordinary village. Its name, Oradour-sur-Glane. Stone houses, narrow streets, small shops. Life moved slowly here. People knew one another. War was not part of this village's daily life. But June 10, 1944, was the day Oradour changed forever. On that day, the SS Das Reich division of Nazi Germany entered the village. The reason, according to official records, was unclear. Some claim it was due to a kidnapping. Others say it was meant as a show of force. But the truth is this: the villagers had no idea what was about to happen. The soldiers gathered the entire population in the town square. Women and children were separated from the men. This division became a wound that would never heal. The men were taken to barns and storage buildings. The women and children were locked inside the church. After a while, gunshots were heard. The men were shot in the legs so they could not escape. Then the buildings were set on fire. Inside the church, something even more horrific occurred. Explosives were thrown inside. Smoke filled the air. Panic spread. The doors were locked. Those who tried to escape climbed through windows. No one was allowed to live. That day, 642 civilians were killed. 205 of them were children. Only a few people survived by pure chance. Everything else turned to ashes. The war ended, but Oradour was never rebuilt. The French government made a clear decision. This village would be left exactly as it was. It would not be repaired. It would not be restored, because Oradour would become a memorial. Today in Oradour-sur-Glane, rusted cars still sit in the streets. Sewing machines remain inside burned homes. Clocks appear frozen at the moment of the massacre. This is not a ghost town. This is a memory deliberately preserved. Oradour reminds humanity of this. War does not only happen on battlefields. The greatest price is paid by civilians. And some cities are abandoned not to be lived in again, but so they are never forgotten. Varosha, Cyprus, a paradise abandoned overnight. On the coast of the Mediterranean, there was once a place that symbolized luxury and vacation. Its name, Varosha. During the 1960s and 1970s, it was one of Cyprus's most prestigious tourist destinations. Golden beaches, tall hotels, palm trees, Hollywood stars vacationed here. Tourists arrived from all over the world. Varosha was known as the Las Vegas of the Eastern Mediterranean. But 1974 changed everything overnight. Military conflict in Cyprus sealed Varosha's fate. The city was evacuated suddenly. People were given no time. Belongings were left behind. Life was frozen in place. They left believing they would return, but that return never came. Varosha was declared a military zone. Surrounded by barbed wire, entry was forbidden. Years passed. Hotels collapsed. Trees grew out of balconies. Store mannequins faded under the sun. Time did not move forward in Varosha. It only decayed. On beaches once filled with laughter, there is now only the sound of wind. Clocks stopped. Calendars closed. Varosha became one of the world's largest intentionally abandoned cities. For decades, no one was allowed to enter, because Varosha was never just a city. It was the frozen form of an unresolved political conflict. Years later, some sections were partially reopened, but the city is still not alive. Varosha reminds us of this. Sometimes cities don't die because of earthquakes or disasters. They die because of politics. And in a single night, a paradise can turn into a ghost city. The abandoned sections of Angkor, Cambodia, a civilization reclaimed by nature. Deep within the dense jungles of Cambodia, there lies a silent world built of stone. This is Angkor. Today, Angkor is known for its temples, but once it was far more than that. Angkor was one of the largest cities the world had ever seen. Between the 9th and 15th centuries, it served as the capital of the Khmer Empire. Hundreds of thousands of people lived here. Wide avenues, canals, residential districts. It was one of the most advanced urban plans of the medieval world. Angkor's power was not only in its architecture, it was in water. A massive water management system had been built. Dams, canals, reservoirs. Rainwater was controlled. Agriculture was sustained. The city worked in harmony with nature. But this balance was not eternal. Over time, climate shifts began. Long droughts were followed by violent monsoons. Water systems were damaged, canals collapsed, farming faltered. At the same time, wars and internal conflicts emerged. The city slowly began to empty. Angkor was not abandoned in a single day. This was not an escape. It was a gradual unraveling. People left, homes fell silent, but the stone remained. And then the forest arrived. Tree roots wrapped around walls, rose through temple floors. Nature quietly reclaimed everything humanity had built. For centuries, Angkor disappeared beneath the jungle, until, in the 19th century, Western explorers rediscovered this stone city. Today, Angkor Wat and its surroundings are open to visitors. But what most people see is only the surface. Deep within the jungle, there are still entirely abandoned sections. Ruins of homes, forgotten roads, collapsed structures, the traces humanity left behind. Angkor teaches us this. A civilization does not vanish overnight, but when the balance with nature is broken, even the greatest cities quietly fade, and in the end, humans leave. Stone remains, the forest remains. All of these cities share one thing in common. They were once full. There were voices, there was life, there were people. But today the walls speak, the roads remember, and silence covers everything. Some were abandoned by disaster, some by war, and some simply by time. But none of them truly disappeared, because wherever humans go, they leave traces behind, and nature patiently reclaims those traces. Perhaps these cities remind us of this. Civilizations are not permanent, but silence always finds its way back.